He's a genius. He can do special things with the football.
Ball still in there. Pulisic! Hat-trick!
This one drops in! And forget away!
Golazo! Golazo! Golazo!
And we are back on the soccer show on sleepyhollowradio.com. I'm Kevin Aguirre, joined by Aidan Ballard, and we've got a bunch to tell you today. First off, we're going to start off with the Premier League, where opening fixture Burnley against Everton landed in a 1-1 draw. Goals from Robert Brady and Calvert-Lewin secured a point for each team.
Definitely a struggle for Everton to start off. They were so strong at the beginning of the season, and now their form has kind of just been lost.
Especially tying with a team like against Burnley, who really have struggled. Like, they've been worse than Everton so far this season. I mean, this is it should be like a pretty shambolic result for
Everton is a tough challenge next week against Chelsea. Their schedule's not getting any easier.
Absolutely not. Next up, we've got Manchester City against Fulham, who easy result for Manchester City, 2-0. This was a comfortable win. Sterling and De Bruyne got on the score sheet. I was really impressed with Zambo Anguissa from Fulham. He looked like a boss in midfield.
He was definitely playing extremely well, and although it was a 2-0 defeat, there were definitely some positives you could take from that loss.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not like, at least they didn't lose terribly. I mean, they did play some good football. I mean, in the end, I mean, it's 3 points for Man City, but always there's room for improvement.
And that Manchester City team's making its way back into the top of the table.
Absolutely, close. Yeah. Started off with the poor season, a poor start, and then they're just bouncing back, which is good.
And they are one game behind everyone.
Yeah,
so if they play that one game, and they're right back in it.
Next up, we've got West Ham against Manchester United. We've seen goals from Pogba, Greenwood, and Rashford help a comeback in the London Stadium after Thomas Souček opened the scoring for West Ham in the 38th minute. This was really surprising for me because it was after halftime when Bruno Fernandes came off the bench and he made an immediate impact. He created 9 chances, more than any player on the pitch. As well, Pogba scored a stunner.
That was an amazing rocket. Right.
That looked so satisfying. It was crazy.
It was just a great game by them overall. Just the Manchester City United team, has been playing extremely well. And I do want to talk about the one big news that's come out in Manchester United was from Paul Pogba's agent. Yeah,
Mino Raiola said that he's no longer interested in continuing his career at Manchester United. This is big news.
That's massive news, and Paul Pogba is an amazing midfielder, and I mean, maybe they believe that Fernandes should just take it, but to move on from a player like Paul Pogba, to want to move on from Manchester United, it's crazy.
I'll read you the exact words that Paul Pogba's agent said. It said, "I can say that now it's over for Paul Pogba at Manchester United." We already said it's big news. I mean, who can imagine where Pogba's career will land him next? I mean, there's speculation saying that he could go to Real Madrid. He could go back to Juventus. I mean, endless possibilities.
And he will have an immediate impact on any of those clubs.
Absolutely, yeah.
And especially a club like Madrid, who's definitely needing some help.
Yeah.
We'll get to that later.
He's a big player.
He is.
All right, next up we've got Chelsea against Leeds. Chelsea picked up a 3-1 win. Patrick Bamford has had Leeds up 1-0 in the 4th minute. This was only Mendy's second goal conceded in the Premier League, which is still very impressive.
It's extremely impressive. I mean, he did charge. He missed the charge.
Yeah, but it's in the end, I mean...
In the end, it worked out, and he made some good saves to make up for it.
Absolutely. We had Giroud, Zuma, and finally Christian Pulisic, who is back scoring goals. Again, this is really good to see him back. We'll talk more about it later. It was really a beautiful link-up between Werner and Pulisic.
I think it's amazing. Chelsea's had 13 different goal scorers this year in the Premier League. That's the most. The second place team doesn't even have double-digit goals.
Yeah, it's in the end, it's really cool to see Chelsea's past players link up with the current who've already been bought from last the transfer market. I mean, it's good to see them have some chemistry, build up on it, and
their depth is probably the best in the Premier League.
Definitely.
Their second squad could definitely compete with anyone.
Yeah. We've got West Brom against Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace beat West Brom 5-1 at the Hawthorns. This is a really bad result for West Brom, who remained 19th in the Premier League table. this was like totally wrong. This is the first of all, their star player Mateus Pereira got sent off after a controversial tackle, which I personally didn't think it wasn't a red card. It was just a yellow. We've got right wing back Darnell Furlong, who scored an own goal, and it went downhill from there. I mean,
concede 5 goals. I mean, we know what this Crystal Palace team can do. Zaha and Benteke are just extremely talented football players.
What I really am shocked to hear is that I've heard so many people rage about Crystal Palace, saying that they're always going to be in a relegation zone. I don't see it personally. I will always see them as a mid-table type team.
The thing about Crystal Palace is when they play these lower tier teams, they play extremely well.
Exactly.
It's just when it comes to playing these the top teams at the table, they've just never been able to step up.
Yeah, well, I do know for a fact that they will never disappoint at Old Trafford against Manchester United. I mean, you see, if you look back at their results, it's crazy. Crystal Palace have won all so far most of the games at Old Trafford. Next up we got Sheffield United against Leicester City. I mean, I did not expect this. I mean, I expected it, but it was crazy.
Not in the fashion that it happened.
Yeah. We've had Ayoze Perez, who had the Foxes up 1-0, and then Ollie McBurney scored his first goal this season for Sheffield United. We've known for the past couple of weeks that the strikers of Sheffield United, McGoldrick, McBurney, Oliver Burke, they've all had struggles, and they weren't able to score as they used to in the last season. And it took all the way to the 90th minute for Jamie Vardy to score the winning goal. And it was even crazy, the celebration, because he slid and he broke the corner flag.
That was just classic Jamie Vardy fashion.
It was so hilarious. I mean, as for Sheffield United, they remain bottom in the Premier League table, this being their 6th consecutive loss. I mean, what can they do moving forward? It's
definitely a struggle. I mean, I guess they can just look to rebuild, maybe. Treat every game.
I think it's the loss of Dean Henderson. I mean, we've now known he's been such an impactful player, regardless of him being goalkeeper from last season.
He was a commanding force and kind of commanded that back line.
Absolutely.
We're kind of seeing especially they're kind of just crumbling apart.
It's tough to see that. Now we've got Liverpool against Wolves. Liverpool with the comfortable 4-0 win. The fans are officially. We forgot to mention this in the beginning.
I was waiting.
Fans are back. Well, not for 10 clubs, for 10 Premier League clubs. Not all of them, unfortunately, but it's wonderful. To see fans back in the stadium.
Clubs with fans back are having 2,000 fans allowed to see their games, and I think what I was hearing some of the players were saying that they enjoyed so much was that when there's a full packed stadium, you're just hearing the roars and the cheers. But when it's only about 2,000 fans, you're hearing all these individual shouts
absolutely.
and screams.
It's one thing, but at the same time, it's still nice to see fans. I mean, after all, they are the reason why this sport is alive, and it's one of the most popular sports in the world. The fans, one key impact right there. But let's talk about Liverpool against Wolves. Sorry, you did hear it. You'll Never Walk Alone anthem, and the fans singing about it earlier in the match. We've had a Connor Cody error that allowed Mo Salah to score the first goal of the game. Wijnaldum, Matip, and an own goal from Nelson Semedo secured the 3 points for Liverpool. Tottenham and them lead the race for the title for now, 24 points each. And speaking of Tottenham
with a 2-0 win over Arsenal. And before we talk about Tottenham, the downfall of Arsenal it's been bad this season.
It's been pretty rough. I mean, they've signed. I thought originally was going to be they signed Thomas Partey. They're going to be solid in midfield. He's a world-class player, but no, fortunately that didn't happen. I mean, Tottenham continue to win and still leaders of the Premier League with 24 points with Liverpool. Harry Kane and Heung-min Son are on fire, and
Heung-min Son's goal was spectacular.
And yeah, they're arguably the best duo in the world right now. I mean, debatable, but it is what it is.
They're playing at an extremely high level.
They've shown they're world class so far this season. Arsenal, like we said, continue to struggle. This was
Arsenal's sitting 15th in the table.
Which is really funny because a lot of people start to question Mikel Arteta's tactics, especially when we've seen in the 45th minute, right before Harry Kane scored that goal. We've seen Thomas Partey come off the pitch due to an injury. He pulled, like, I'm not sure if it was a hamstring or he pulled something. He was sitting on the sidelines, and all of a sudden Tottenham begin the counterattack, and Mikel Arteta forces Thomas Partey to run back to help the back line, which I didn't think was a pretty bright idea.
I think it's like Arteta's tactics are definitely like, it's like you try to bring back an old past player, hopefully like kind of like rejuvenate his club. It's failed, unfortunately.
And it's tough to see Thomas Partey like that. I mean, just running and then he pulls that ligament again. Like it's really tough to see. But next up, we're going around the world. We're gonna start with La Liga, and we've seen Real Madrid get a crucial 3 points over Sevilla, 1-0. This is continuing looming pressure on manager Zinedine Zidane. Meanwhile, for Barcelona, they lose to Cadiz 2-1, and this is crazy. Barcelona sit 9th in the table. Cadiz are the first team in years to beat both the first promoted team, to beat Barcelona and Real Madrid.
And I think that's just a matter of fact. There's of course all the turmoil in Barcelona and also with Madrid, but also I think this aspect of like no fans, it's kind of like it makes the games a lot more unpredictable.
Absolutely.
I feel like
it definitely. I mean, I would say if Real Madrid had their fans back in the Santiago Bernabeu, I mean, we know now they're not playing in the Bernabeu due to like construction and all that, but if they had fans inside that stadium, like a whole packed crowd, I do think the advantage would always go to Madrid, regardless of whatever type of match, whether it be a Clásico, all that. The next up, we're going to move to Atletico Madrid with a 2-win over against Real Valladolid. They are now top of the table with 26 points. Is this the year Diego Simeone breaks the curse and gets Atletico Madrid the title?
Right now it looks extremely optimistic. I mean, this team, is, even in the Champions League as well, they're playing at an extremely high level.
Absolutely.
And you look at Barcelona and Madrid, I don't see them finding form.
Yeah, this type of season reminds me back of 2013-14 when Atletico signed David Villa from Barcelona, and it kind of relates to Luis Suarez from Barcelona this year. That was the same year that Atletico reached the Champions League finals and they won the La Liga title, which I think David Villa made a huge impact for the team. And yeah, we'll see what happens with Atletico Madrid. Just keep a big eye on them.
They're definitely in good form, and they're gonna if they continue to play well, I mean, no one's gonna stop them.
Yeah. Next, we're going to talk about the Bundesliga. Dortmund and Eintracht Frankfurt with the 1-1 draw. Gio Reyna with an amazing goal. We'll discuss later on that. And it's evident that Dortmund heavily relied on Erling Haaland, who is missing out due to an injury. Next up, we've got Bayern Munich.
I was going to comment.
Oh, no, go ahead.
It's extremely difficult to kind of like fill that void of Erling Haaland in the middle. I mean, they have Jadon Sancho in the wing. Obviously, Gio Reyna's also there.
Yeah, he's played a massive role for this team. We've seen the world-class abilities he's capable of. I mean, it like you said, it's really hard to get that replacement.
They tried to fill Marco Reus in, but Reus isn't as fast as Haaland.
Yeah, I think because due to like the amount of injuries Reus has had, I don't think he's it's not. He hasn't had that much experience lately. I mean, we know he's an experienced player, but
it's a completely different attack, and I think it's extremely hard because Dortmund's known for their counterattack, and without that,
absolutely. And Reus is like known for being a central midfielder, like not a striker, not a center forward. But I mean, if they could find someone to they could buy someone off the transfer market, like the winter transfer market.
Because Haaland will be back in January. It's just like finding these wins to stay close to the top in the Bundesliga and also in the Champions League, which we'll discuss later.
Next, we're going to talk about Bayern Munich against RB Leipzig. The game of the week ended in a 3-3 thriller goal fest. Thomas Müller scored 2 goals. This was a really thrilling game. Bayern sit alone at the top of the table as of now.
And it was definitely Leipzig's game to win.
It was crazy. It was going back and forth. That's what made this game so special. I mean, we've seen Manuel Neuer make an error, and then we've had Nkunku, Justin Kluivert, Emil Forsberg score, and we even had Jamal Musiala, the youngster, score for Bayern Munich.
And it was definitely, it seemed like Leipzig might have been able to pull it off, and then Thomas Müller just rockets one in, and just like that, 3-3 draw.
Next up, it's the Serie A. Juventus got a 2-1 win over Torino. Weston McKennie scored his first goal for Juve. We'll talk about that later. AC Milan stay hot, 5 points above everyone after a 2-1 win over Sampdoria. This Milan team just doesn't disappoint this season.
They've continued to play extremely well, and now that Ronaldo's back, I'm sure Juventus will start picking up these wins. But
I think so, yes.
the way they're looking right now, 5 points above everyone. That's extremely difficult to do, especially at this point in the season.
Yeah, I believe I said this in the last episode, but I really do want to see AC Milan back in the Champions League. I mean, if they don't win the title, might as well go top 4. I mean,
definitely.
Why not? We've got Inter Milan, who secured a 3-1 win over Bologna and are second place in the Serie A table. It's crazy seeing AC Milan on the top and runners-up Inter. Like, that is crazy. I mean, when was the last time we've seen
It's crazy to see,
teams?
and it could definitely shift once Juventus plays one of these teams, but it's crazy that right now both Milan teams are just playing at such a high level. Obviously, after signing Hakimi, that's just boosted Inter Milan's squad as well.
Yeah, they signed Vidal as well, who their midfield who looks a bit sharp now.
And his experience will help them so much.
League One is next. This is considered a farmers league in everyone's opinions. But let's just talk about PSG and their 3-1 win over Montpellier. Mbappe got his 100th goal for PSG. This is crazy. And he's still a youngster, and he already has 100 goals for PSG. There's nothing this guy can't do. This is a big congratulations to him. We're excited for his future.
He's playing extremely well, and the future is bright for him. But maybe, do you think Mbappe should transfer out of PSG?
I think what I think is first of all, let me say that he's one of those people who one of those athletes who people would consider him overrated, but really he's absolutely not overrated. He has proved over the past few years, ever since he started playing for Monaco, he has proved how world class he is.
And he's only 21 years old.
Yeah, this is crazy. We've seen his performances in the World Cup, Champions League. This is crazy. What this kid can be capable of, and so to see him in a more competitive league, it would make sense. But I would say not to sell him as young as he is right now. I would say because
his price is probably so high right now.
I think just let him stay at the club at PSG for 2 more seasons. And then he can move on. Because you never know when players will be moved to a new club at a young age and then just not do as well as they did in PSG or in another team. So that's just my one fear of Mbappe moving to a more competitive league. But in terms of actually playing in a different league, I could see him playing in La Liga with Real Madrid. In the Premier League, I don't see it as much, but I would most likely see him in La Liga.
Mm-hmm, definitely with Madrid.
Yeah.
Okay, so we will be back discussing the Champions League, and we'll take a short break.
And we are back on the Soccer Show on SleepyHollowRadio.com, where we will discuss the Champions League and the fixtures that are yet to come on the final group stage match day. We're going to start off with Group E, where Chelsea face Krasnodar, as well as Rennes against Sevilla. We know Chelsea and Sevilla have qualified already for the round of 16. Now it's only a matter of time for Krasnodar to make it to the Europa League. And we're going to see Chelsea's basically B team face off against Krasnodar.
It'd be impressive to see if Krasnodar can somehow pull this win off and qualify for the Europa League. It's their first Champions League.
Personally, I definitely think Chelsea's B team are more than
Chelsea's
capable.
B team's 100% capable, but it'll be good to see.
Yeah. Group F consists of Lazio against Club Brugge and Zenit against Borussia Dortmund. We know Borussia Dortmund clinched the round of 16. Now it's up to either Lazio or Club Brugge. Which team do you think are the favorites in this game?
I think Lazio is definitely the favorite, but I wouldn't underestimate Club Brugge. They can definitely stick with this Lazio team. Absolutely.
I think Lazio, personally, this is my opinion, they haven't played as well as they have last season. I think they've got onto a shaky start in the Serie A, and you never know. Lazio, like you said, are the favorites. I do see them winning. Even a tie would mean Lazio will be going to the next round. So we'll see what happens with that. Group G, we've got arguably the biggest match in this match day, Barcelona against Juventus. This is possibly the one last stand between Messi and Ronaldo.
And also, this game's got big implications as well. I mean, Juventus could potentially put themselves at the top of the group with a convincing enough win.
Yeah, this is crazy. I mean, we've seen in the previous fixture that Ronaldo had to miss out due to COVID, and this game has a lot of hype to it. I pray that it doesn't disappoint us.
Messi's cleared, Ronaldo's cleared. It'll be exciting to see them finally go against each other again.
Absolutely, and this is like going to be for a while now because like Ronaldo left.
It's been a long
Madrid,
time.
Yeah.
Fans will be definitely looking forward to this game.
Yep, absolutely. Let's see. And who do you think are the favorites to win this match?
I definitely see this game tipping towards Juventus, just considering Barcelona's current form in La Liga. Even though they haven't lost this year in the Champions League, I just think they're extremely shaky, and I could see Juventus.
Especially because Barcelona did struggle against a newly promoted team like Cadiz in the past weekend. Juventus, they beat Torino. I think they're in good form. But yeah, we'll see what this match.
The only thing is,
us.
though, Lionel Messi will definitely elevate.
He has to. Yep.
He elevates his game.
We're gonna talk about Group H now. This is the group of death. This is where all is at stake. We've got PSG against Istanbul Başakşehir here, and we got RB Leipzig against Manchester United.
And for those of you who don't know, Manchester United, RB Leipzig, and PSG are all sitting at 9 points currently. If a win by PSG puts them in, a win by Leipzig over United puts them in. If United beats Leipzig, they're in.
It's especially for Leipzig against Manchester United. This is clearly the bigger match out of the two, and I think personally for me, PSG will win. No,
PSG should win convincingly.
They should win against Istanbul Başakşehir, therefore claiming the one of the spots of the round of 16. In terms of Leipzig against Manchester United, this is going to be a really important game for both sides. I mean,
and due to goal differential, if Leipzig if it's a draw, Manchester United will advance.
Yeah, I mean, this is gonna be fun. But the way I see it right now, I think for sure Manchester United will come up with the win, like last minute win. And I think Leipzig will have to end up in the Europa League. But
Leipzig team can stick with anyone. That's the only thing. We saw them against Bayern Munich last weekend.
That's what I was gonna say. I mean, do not underestimate this Leipzig team. They're more than capable of defeating a team like Manchester United. I mean, let's see what happens. They did it with Atletico Madrid last year. Let's just hope
they can definitely play well.
We're going next to the Wednesday fixtures. With Group A, this is an important match for both sides. Salzburg against Atletico Madrid. This is anyone's game. I mean,
Atletico's been in amazing form, but if Salzburg could pull off this upset, I think it'd be huge for that club.
Just, ladies and gentlemen, keep in mind that a draw between these two will mean Atletico Madrid will qualify to the next round. A win, Salzburg need a win to make it to the next round. If they don't manage to win, they will be out. And as well as Lokomotiv Moscow and Salzburg, they only have a 1 point difference, which means if Salzburg win and a Lokomotiv manage to get a point, Lokomotiv will move up to third place, securing an Europa League spot. So just keep in mind for that.
A lot of implications from those two games. Let's talk about Ajax against Atalanta.
Yes, in Group D. This is going to be another big game. Atalanta are currently second in Group H. In Group D, sorry. They're second with 8 points. Ajax are third with 7 points. We know Michelin's been eliminated from the competition, but this is going to be a pivotal game for both sides. I mean, in terms of who's favorites, I think anyone could be favorites.
I think anyone's definitely favorite. I mean, Ajax is always a strong young team.
But I see this game ending in a 2-2 draw. I don't know about you, but I think it's going to end in a draw, and Atalanta will qualify.
And Atalanta will had to qualify, which would be big for their club to advance to the round of 16.
Yeah, and Group B is next. Another round, a group of death. Sorry, we've currently have Borussia Mönchengladbach against Real Madrid against Borussia Mönchengladbach and Inter against Shakhtar Donetsk.
This is the craziest part about it. Right now, all 4 teams could hypothetically advance to the Champions League.
Yeah, this is
To the round of 16.
Yeah.
Which is, for the last day of games, is insane.
It's insane. I mean, we haven't seen a group like this in a while, where the favorites are struggling and they are one step away from making it out of the round of 16 and into the third place, which means Europa League. But could we see Real Madrid in the Europa League tomorrow? That is the big question. And this is, like, we talked about this earlier with Real Madrid's game and the La Liga, but Zinedine Zidane has so much pressure lying on his hands, and this reports say this is the game that will determine his fate against Borussia Mönchengladbach. If they don't qualify to the round of 16, we could see Zinedine Zidane sacked in the next day.
Let us lay this out for you. If Real Madrid loses, they're out.
They're
they
done.
lose to Borussia Mönchengladbach, they are moving to the Europa League.
Absolutely.
If Real Madrid and Gladbach tie, and and Shakhtar wins, Real Madrid is out. If they win, they're in. And obviously, if they tie and Inter wins by 3 goals, Inter Milan advances on goal differential.
Yeah. It's all hectic, man.
It's going to be a hectic game. Hectic for all 4 teams.
Yeah.
It's going to be exciting to see. But I think what I'm predicting, I'll predict a draw between Gladbach and Madrid, but I see both of them advancing.
Let me think real quick. I
think draws from both.
This is gonna be controversial, but I will say Madrid will come in clutch last minute, just like Manchester United, and they will make it to the round of 16. In terms of Inter against Shakhtar, I mean, Shakhtar did prove that they're a good team. I don't see Inter winning this game. I do see another tie. So in the end, I'm gonna say Real Madrid are leaders.
And Gladbach is second.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say.
Interesting. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah. Next up, let's talk about the MLS playoffs. Let's just tell you right now that the MLS is crazy. It's gone berserk.
It has gone berserk.
Let's talk about the Eastern Conference Final first, with Columbus Crew facing off against the New England Revolution. This game, I knew from the start, was going to be a really close match. In the end, Columbus did come up with a crucial win to send them to the MLS Cup Final.
A crucial goal by Arthur in the 59th minute.
Yeah. I mean...
that game was a chess match. 16 shots on goal. 7 shots on goal for Columbus Crew and 4 by New England Revolution. The chances were there.
Yeah.
I just couldn't put them away.
This is crazy. I mean, I didn't think Columbus Crew would be advancing to the MLS Final. I think it was going to be a tough game, especially with the talent that the New England Revolution has, with Gustavo Bo, with Carlos Hill, with Teal Bunbury, with Matt Turner in goal, who's been arguably a really good goalkeeper, one of the best this season. And so, yeah, a well-deserved win for Columbus. Now let's talk about the Western Conference Final.
The Seattle Sounders take a 3-2 win over Minnesota United to advance.
This was absolutely ridiculous. I did not expect a comeback. No, for the start, I think Seattle Sounders were favorites to win. After seeing Minnesota go up 2-0 in the 67th minute,
thought it was over. It's over.
It's over. And then comes Will Bruin with the goal in the 75th minute. Raul Ruidiaz in the 89th minute. And in the 90th minute, Gustav Svensson with a pivot, the most important goal of them all.
Send them over the top and into the finals.
And he sent them to the MLS Cup Final.
And they could potentially repeat. They were obviously the 2019 MLS champions.
Yeah.
And they could potentially repeat that, which would be extremely impressive.
And now it's this Saturday at 8 p.m. where the Columbus Crew take on the Seattle Sounders in the MAP-Free Stadium in Columbus. This is going to be crazy. We know Columbus Crew, they're used to finals, as well as Seattle Sounders. And
Seattle Sounders have won it in 2019, 2016. It'll be an extremely good fixture to see.
And I'll ask you, Aidan, you can make your predictions now. Who do you think is going to win?
I just see the Seattle Sounders team. I mean, to come back and to win 3-2. This team's experienced. They know what it's like to play in a final. They did it last year. And I easily see them doing it again with the repeat.
I agree with you. I think Seattle Sounders will take this MLS Cup back to Seattle, and I'm going to say like a 3-2 win. A 3-2 win for Seattle. And yeah, see what happens there.
And let's just discuss the recently Alejandro Pozuelo from Toronto FC was named the 2020 Landon Donovan MLS MVP award.
I believe so. I made a prediction. We made predictions.
We did. We predicted him.
Yeah, I said Alejandro Pozuelo. I think he's a world class player. A big congratulations to him. I think it was well deserved.
He had 10 goals, 9 assists this season, and it was unfortunate to see their playoff. They got upset.
Yeah, it's
early on.
Devastating, but I mean, what can you do? I mean, it's only best to learn from these mistakes.
With the 1-0 loss to Nashville, knocked them out early.
And Nashville were a surprise team, as well as Minnesota. I did not expect them to make it all the way to the Western Conference.
It was very interesting to see like this MLS layout to have so many teams in the playoffs, and it's really anything can happen. We saw Toronto goes out early, and now it's like it's wide open. It's anyone's game, and Columbus Crew took advantage.
It's crazy, it really is. Well, now we're going to talk about the U.S. men's national team week in review.
And what a week it was.
Let's start off with Gio Reyna's screamer against against Frankfurt in the Bundesliga.
Saturday morning, Gio Reyna with a absolute rocket.
This was like crazy. Goes in the top left corner. I mean, oh my gosh. That was a good goal. It's the second Bundesliga goal.
And everyone's happy about that, and then Weston McKennie scores a diving header for a 2-1 win over Torino.
He's been very pivotal. He's been a very impactful player in that Serie A
and obviously
fixture.
He's had opportunities. He had an extremely unselfish tee off to Alvaro Morata early on. He could have scored that, and he gets his chance. He executes, and it's good for him. And everyone's celebrating. Yeah. 2 Americans score in one day.
Yeah, as well as Christian Pulisic with the sliding tap in.
Christian Pulisic was yet to play, and he scores it. That was an amazing goal. Yeah, good assist by Werner.
Yep. Beautiful link up. And this is, fun fact, the first time in 15 years that 3 Americans scored in one of the 5 major European leagues on the same day. The last 3 Americans to do that was Brian McBride, Jermaine Jones, and Claudio Reyna. We all know they're big United States legends. And that's crazy.
It's just amazing to see how Americans are making their way back. And it's good to see that, like, Pulisic, he's healthy again.
It's good to see him back.
It's a great sliding goal.
Hopefully we'll see more of that Werner and Pulisic link up, Hakim Ziyech and Pulisic.
He's definitely getting his confidence back, and obviously the circumstances were unfortunate for him coming on. Obviously, Hakim Ziyech went out with an injury.
Yeah,
and he came on, took advantage of his minutes. It was just exciting absolutely. To see. But
Christian Pulisic's goal in the Premier League was his 10th goal in 30 appearances, making him the fastest American to double-digit goals in the Prem. This is really impressive.
It's extremely impressive to see, and the future is extremely bright for Pulisic. And you look at this Chelsea team right now; they're on fire, and Pulisic will just continue to contribute to his part.
Absolutely,
and help them.
He's still young. He's got it. He's so much time to improve and to become like a really world-class player. We've seen Tyler Adams receive a start for the RB Leipzig game against Bayern in that 3-3 thriller. A big game for him. And Serginho Dest, however, he lost to Cadiz with Barcelona in that 2-1 fixture. And speaking of, I'm sorry. In terms of the women, Alex Morgan scored her first goal for Tottenham, and this is crazy. I mean, seeing her move to Tottenham, first of all, was a big move for her. Congratulations, she's done well.
It was a good goal for her,
as well as being a mom. Like that's crazy. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. This Wednesday we will see the U.S. Men's national team against El Salvador. This USA men's national team is really MLS. It's an MLS featured squad. I'll just name some of the players that are on the roster. First off, we've got Bill Hamid from DC United as the goalkeeper. JT Marcinkowski from the San Jose Earthquakes. Defenders, we've got Kyle Duncan from the Red Bulls, Marco Farfan from the Portland Timbers, Aaron Long from the New York Red Bulls. Midfielders, we've got Brennan Aronson from Philadelphia Union, Kellen Acosta from Colorado Rapids. We got Andres Pereira from Orlando City. Forwards, we've got quite a lot of options. We got Efran Alvarez from LA Galaxy. We got Paul Arriola from DC United, Daryl Dyke from Orlando City, Chris Mueller from Orlando City, and Sebastian Soto from Telstar.
Obviously, Sebastian Soto just joined them after there was a case, and he just jumped right into that team, and he'll making a great impact.
This is wonderful to see because the normal United States men's national team is like pretty European-based players. It's good to see players from the MLS
get an opportunity.
Yeah, this is a great time for improvement to build up on their skills and whatnot. I mean,
definitely a bunch of first-time country appearances, but it'll be exciting to see, and definitely a test for this manager now that he has so much talent, how he will find and build this team to hopefully because the U.S. has got the Gold Cup and then they got the World Cup.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's hope for the best for the U.S. men's national team in terms of like the Gold Cup and qualification to the World Cup of 2022 and get that. And I think that about wraps it up. This episode. We thank you guys again for listening and tuning in. This is Kevin Aguirre and Aidan Ballard. This has been the Soccer Show on SleepyHollowRadio.com.
We're signing off. We'll see you next week.
He's a genius. He can do special things with the football.
Ball still in there. Pulisic! Hat-trick!
This one drops in. And forget away.
Golazo! Golazo!